Right then guys, how's it going? And welcome back to Your Football Predictions, the series where you guys go up against me to see who can get the most correct predictions for the upcoming Premier League games. So, the Premier League returned last night and it was pretty good. It was great to just sit down and watch some Premier League football again. I mean, the fact that the Villa-Sheffield United game ended 0-0 wasn't the most exciting, except for the fact that Sheffield United actually scored and the ref's buzzer didn't go off when it crossed the line. So Villa got away with a bit of luck on that one. And then the Arsenal-Man City game, Arsenal came out and actually looked pretty good until David Luiz came on, gave away a goal, gave away a pen, which Man City scored, got himself sent off, and then Man City ran away with it after that. So yeah, it was a night of football, and that was day one of 6 more weeks of it. So it's exciting stuff. Those were my predictions for the 2 games up there. Way off with the Villa Sheffield United prediction, but pretty close with the Man City one. And as always, you guys did way better than I did. There was a handful of winners for this video who got 1 correct score, and they are Marius, Michael, Connor, George, thumbs up, and a special mention to Manish, who got 1 correct score, but also got that De Bruyne and Sterling would get a goal. So well done to everyone on the screen right now. And remember, if you want to be shouted out in my next predictions video, to make sure you get your predictions down below for this weekend's games, which we will go through now. Normally I would pick a handful of games to predict, but because it is the first full weekend back of Premier League, I'm going to predict all the games from Friday through to Monday. There's actually more games on Tuesday, Wednesday and so on, but we'll stick with this weekend for now, and hopefully we might get another one out before the games start up again on Tuesday. So we've got a fair few to get through. Let me know what you think of the format, if you prefer me to do as many games as possible, or if you prefer for me to talk a little bit longer over maybe more of the exciting games, shall we say. So yeah, let's get on to Friday. First game, we have got Norwich taking on Southampton. This game is on Sky at 6 o'clock, and I believe this is one of the free Sky games as well over on Pick. So if you don't have Sky, I believe you can get this game for free. Norwich currently sitting in 20th place. Southampton sitting in 14th place. Norwich have obviously got a hill to climb to get out that relegation zone, but it is possible. They are 6 points off getting out of the relegation zone. And I believe, there's the 3 or 4 teams, Bournemouth, West Ham, Watford, are all sitting on the same points. Bournemouth are just in the relegation zone. Watford, West Ham are just out of the relegation zone. So yes, Norwich do need to win 2 games, which is going to be tough considering the number of fixtures we have left this season. But it's not like they're just chasing one team. There's a whole host of teams who need to keep winning. And I don't think they're out of the running yet. When they've got a player like Pukki, who knows what they might do. Southampton, they are sitting in 14th place. They are 7 points ahead of the relegation zone. So, as I say, if you think about it this way, Norwich are trying to get 6 points to get out of the relegation zone. Southampton are another 7 points ahead of that. So, yeah, I don't think Southampton's got anything to worry about this season. They aren't really going to get too much higher. Don't think they're going to drop too much lower. It's going to be pretty mid-table for them, I think. And the prediction I've put on this one is 2-0 Southampton. Norwich have really got a lot more to play for, so who knows, maybe they could swing it their way. Next up, again on the Friday night, but at 8:15, and again on Sky, we have got Spurs taking on Manchester United. So I think this is going to be a good one. Mourinho taking on Manchester United. He's going to have something up his sleeve, so I'm looking forward to find out what that is. And if you think Solskjaer as well, he had a terrible start at Man U, and they really turned things around just before we went into the break. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out playing in this game as well. In terms of league position, Spurs are in 8th. They're 7 points off 4th. And there's a lot of teams in there all fighting for the Europa League potential 4th place spot. So Spurs are really going to, as I say, there's not that many games left. Spurs, a big win for them could really push them in the right direction. Man U are currently sitting in 5th and off 3 points off 4th. So depending on, I don't know what the goal difference is, I'm not sure. But again, if Man U want to push for that Champions League spot, they're taking Spurs out of it and they're pushing forward. So I don't know, can either of these teams grab Champions League, or are they both really fighting for Europa? Who knows? In terms of a prediction, I went 2-1 Spurs. But 2 teams with some great attacking players. Who knows? Moving on to the Saturday morning, we have at 12:30 on BT, Watford taking on Leicester. So 2 teams, opposite ends of the table. I mentioned Watford already because they are sitting in 17th place. They are one of the teams who are joint on this 27 points, I'm sure it is. Yeah, so Watford are on 27 points. Below them, Bournemouth 27 points. Above them, West Ham 27 points. So again, it's so tight down there. And I mean, as I say, if Villa win their game at the weekend, or Norwich win their game at the weekend, and Watford were to lose this game, it puts them in real danger. I mean, if Bournemouth win the game, they will drop down to the relegation zone as if they lose. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure on these games. And then Leicester currently sitting in 3rd place, 8 points ahead of 5th. So I really don't have any doubt that Leicester will be picking up a Champions League spot this season. I think things are going to have to go very, very wrong for them to not, and that is not a jinx. So yeah, 2 teams, different ends of the table. I think it's really going to mean a lot more to Watford to pick up a result because they're in a lot more danger. I think Leicester are pretty safe for that Champions League spot right now. But I have gone 3-0 Leicester. Who knows how these teams are even going to be returning after not having played in a long time. Fitness is likely going to be low. And as we saw with the games last night, teams are starting off a little bit slow. I think if Leicester can get a goal, I think they could easily score 3. Next up again on the Saturday, but at 3 o'clock, and again on BT Sport, we have got Brighton taking on Arsenal. So Brighton are currently sitting in 15th place and are 2 points ahead of the relegation zone. Which also means they are 2 points ahead of those 3 teams who are all sat down on 27 points. So obviously a win against Arsenal would be a very valuable 3 points for them. Although they do have a 2-point buffer at the minute, and I think at this stage in the season, even 2 points means a lot. Having said that, all these teams coming back for their first game in a long time, we could quite easily see a lot of movement down there, and the games are coming thick and fast, so you don't know what's going to happen. And then Arsenal currently sitting in 9th. We saw them lose against Man City last night. As I say, David Luiz has had an absolute nightmare. The fact that he didn't get played to start with because Arteta didn't think he was good enough, and then he did come on and showed him exactly why he shouldn't have been played in the first place. It all went horribly wrong for Arsenal last night. Having said that, we saw some of their younger players getting involved. They always still have Aubameyang. He has always got a goal in him. They've got Lacazette. So I don't know. One thing actually is, I think, although Brighton have had much longer to rest, ready for their first game, I actually think the fact that Arsenal have played a game, seen a little bit of match fitness again, I think that is very valuable as well. So I have backed Arsenal with a narrow 1-0 win. I think Arsenal picked up a couple of injuries in that last game, which is obviously not going to help them in this one. But as I say, I do actually think that getting out there and playing a team like Man City is definitely going to sharpen you up a little bit. And I think that might just grab them the edge in this game. Next up again on the Saturday, but at 5:30, and this one's on Sky, we have got West Ham taking on Wolves. So as I mentioned already, West Ham are one of those three teams down, sat on the 27 points. West Ham are sitting in 16th place, but they are just goal difference ahead of the relegation zone. So, as I've said already, it's very, very tight down there. It's going to be interesting. 3 points at this stage in the season would be huge, especially when it's so close down there. And even as I say, even Norwich are only 2 wins away from getting out of the relegation zone, and they're flat bottom on 20th. So 3 points for West Ham would be huge. And then you've got Wolves, who are really playing for a completely different reason, as they are looking at currently 5 points off 4th place and just 2 points off 5th place. Europa League would be fantastic for Wolves, but imagine if they could actually push for that Champions League spot. It's very close around there as well. There's already teams in those positions. So Chelsea are sitting in 4th. It's really their position to lose it. If Chelsea are winning their games, then they really don't have anything to worry about. But teams like Wolves, you want to keep the pressure on. Same with Man U, same with Sheffield United, same with anyone up there. So I've gone 2-1 Wolves. I think over the course of the season, they've been the better team. Who knows what they'll be like when they come back from this break, but that's what I've gone with. And the final game on the Saturday at 7:45 and on the BBC, the first ever Premier League game on the BBC, we have got Bournemouth taking on Crystal Palace. So I've mentioned Bournemouth. They are sitting in the relegation zone in 18th place, but they are just goal difference behind West Ham, Watford, and just 2 points behind Brighton. So a win for Bournemouth could leapfrog them 3 places and step them out of the relegation zone. So again, very big game for them. Crystal Palace currently sitting in 11th place. Very solid mid-table, and with a potential outside chance of actually seeing some European football. They are 5 points off 6th place and 6 points off 5th place. Again, sitting in 11th to 5th and just 2 wins away is pretty mad, because if you think about it, everyone from 11th to 5th is in contention with a Europa League spot. And there's just 2 matches for Crystal Palace to get there. Obviously, it depends on all the other results, and as I say, it's an outside chance because there's so many other teams in there. But who knows? A win against Bournemouth could set them right in the right direction. So, prediction of I don't know if I've balled it a bit. I've gone 2-2. I don't know if there'll be that many goals, to be honest. I don't know if the fitness can... who knows, Man City did it last night, but I just didn't think there was that much in the Villa-Sheffield United game. Whether that was fitness or not, I'm not sure. So, we'll see. We'll stick with 2-2. Moving on to the Sunday at 2 o'clock, and this one's on Sky Pick as well, so I believe you can grab this one for free. And it is the return of my team, Newcastle United, taking on Sheffield United. So, it is a little bit sad that I can't walk up to St James's and watch this game in person, but I am still excited to see Newcastle make their return. We are currently sat in 13th place, pretty much slap bang in the middle of the league. 10 points off top 5, top 6, and I do not think we'll be getting Europe. And then we were about the same ahead of the relegation zone as well. I think we're 8 points ahead of the bottom 3. I think we should be alright. I'm not going to jinx it just yet, because you never know with the Newcastle. But I think if we're able to pick up a win or 2 or even a few draws before the end of the season, that would really solidify us. So yeah, there's not a huge amount of incentive for us right now, but I've no doubt the players will be going for it. And then Sheffield United, they are currently sitting in 6th place. We saw them last night and got extremely unlucky with the goal that went in and didn't count because the ref's buzzer didn't go off. The only thing I can think with that one is because the keeper grabbed it and basically stepped over his line, but because his arms were around the ball and also around the post, I don't know if maybe it confused the watch because it wasn't quite as clear and concise as just was the ball over. It was also whether the goalie was over and all that kind of stuff. So who really knows? But yeah, Sheffield United are in 6th. They're fighting for the Europa League spot, which I think they could quite definitely do, to be honest. I thought they actually looked pretty good last night. In terms of a prediction, I'm definitely being biased, but it's the first game back for Newcastle. I'm going to go 2-1. I don't know if we actually know how to score 2 goals, to be honest, but you never know. St. Max, give him 2 goals and give us the win. Next up again on the Sunday, but at 4:15, and again on Sky, we have got Villa taking on Chelsea. So we saw Villa last night. I think very decent point for them. I thought they looked all right at times. I thought they looked very attacking at times. They are currently sitting in 19th place. Again, they are 1 point behind those 3 teams. So a win would jump them right out of the relegation zone. Obviously, it's going to be a very tough game against Chelsea, who are sitting in 4th. And as I mentioned earlier, Chelsea are sitting in pole position for that Champions League spot right now. Leicester are 5 points ahead of them, and Chelsea are 3 points ahead of Manchester United, who are in 5th. So if Chelsea can stay consistent with their games and their wins, I don't think they've got anything to worry about, to be honest. But there is a handful of teams knocking on their door right now, and they're going to want to make sure they can keep that gap where it is. So I have predicted Chelsea to win 3-1. I thought Aston Villa looked, again, Aston Villa have had that little bit of extra match sharpness now. I know they've got less of a break, but I do think just like playing in that full 90-minute game at full flow makes a difference. So maybe Villa can turn something out of this one, but if Chelsea are prepared in the way they should be, I think they should be winning this game. And finally on the Sunday, this game is at 7 o'clock and it's on Sky Pick, so it's free. And what a free game to have on, because it is Everton taking on Liverpool. Now, if Arsenal had have done Liverpool a favour and beaten Man City, which they didn't, Liverpool could have won the league at Everton and on free TV. But that was not the case. So, Liverpool, we know they're sitting in first place. We know that it's not if, it's when. It just won't be against Everton. But no doubt they're still going to want to go there and get the win. And Everton currently sitting in 12th place. Slap bang in the middle of the league. 10 points ahead of relegation. 10 points behind Europa. I don't think they're really going to move too much. So really, it's just all about the derby. If Everton could put a little scratch on that Liverpool record for the season, I've no doubt they would love to do it. So, in terms of a prediction, I have still backed Liverpool 2-0. But it's in a derby. Neither team's played in a very long time. Who knows what could happen? I think it's going to be a great game regardless. And to finish off on Monday night, again on Sky, 8 o'clock, we have got Man City taking on Burnley. So we saw Man City pick up a fantastic win against Arsenal last night, sitting in second place. I spoke about this in my last video and got pointed out that I might be incorrect. Man City are currently fighting for their place, not on the pitch but off the pitch legally, for a place in the Champions League next season. In terms of league positioning, they've got nothing to worry about. They don't really have much to play for now either. They can't get top. I really doubt they'll drop out of 4th, if that's even mathematically possible. I don't know if it is. It's all about whether they're allowed to play in the Champions League next season. But as I was saying, they beat Arsenal 3-0. They'll want to keep doing that until the end of the season. Then Burnley, they are sitting slap bang in the middle of the league. I think they are 5-6 points away from 6th place. So again, an outside chance at a Europa League spot, like Crystal Palace, yeah. I mentioned it with Crystal Palace there in 11th, Burnley are in 10th. You know, just 2 games separating that many teams. There's always a chance. In terms of a prediction, I've gone 2-0 Man City. Again, I was thinking more along the lines of teams who've had that longer break can come into it better rested. But I actually think after having such a long break and then almost playing like your first game back, get the cobwebs off, get into the second game, I think Burnley are going to turn up kind of like what Arsenal did, thinking, right, let's get playing, and then Man City just take over. But who am I to know? Maybe Burnley will shock us all. And that is it, guys. So those are all of my predictions down there. I have been recording for quite a long time now before editing it, so I don't quite know how long this video is going to be. Be sure to get all of your predictions down in the comments below. I will go through all of them and shout out the winner in the next predictions video. I will have put all of these games down in the description, so if it's any easier for you, go down to the description, copy and paste all the games, stick it in the comments, and then add your scores in, because that might be a little bit easier for you, because that's quite a lot to type out. And let me know your thoughts on this format as well. Do you like it when I go through all the games, or would you rather I just picked a handful of the more exciting games from the weekend instead? And yeah, as I say, predictions in down below. The first game is tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, so you haven't got long to get your predictions in. I'll make a note of everyone's scores at 5 to 6 tomorrow night, and then, as I say, we'll shout out the winner in the next predictions video. Alright, thank you all for watching, guys. I hope you're all happy to see the football back. I certainly am, and cannot wait to see a full weekend of it as well. Alright, as always, thank you for watching. Drop a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more prediction videos, and I'll catch you later.